All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone who rule well, and salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word, love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shatia from the Chicago camp, coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And we got a incident with the beautiful black queen just doing what she does. You know, it's a real messed up story, and we're going to get right into it.
The mother, Kelly Bryant, she set Kelly Bryant's bond at $250 million. And she says if Bryant is able to pay that bond, she is not allowed to have any communications with her family. You're now looking at the mugshot they were able to get of Kelly Bryant. She is 34 years old, and she is facing 3 charges, that is 3 counts of first-degree child abuse. She allegedly neglected her children in her home for years. What you're looking at now, or about to look at too, these images are graphic, but these depict the living conditions that Kelly Bryant's 3 children were allegedly living in. The living conditions of a 15-year-old boy and a 13 and 12-year-old girl.
Oakland County Sheriff's deputies found 3 children in this house in these conditions. A 15-year-old boy and 2 girls aged 12 and 13. Their mother had left them in that home to fend for themselves almost 5 years ago. They existed on weekly drop-offs of food from Instacart and DoorDash. Their house was overrun with garbage and feces and mold. Their clothes were filthy. Their hair was matted. And just so you know the extent of the neglect, their toenails were so long they could barely walk. How are the children right now, and where are they?
So we took them immediately out of the home once we discovered them, took them to medical care, and then involved our Child Protective Services. And they have been placed temporarily with relatives that were unaware of what was going on. And we have a lot more scheduled for them this week. We've got a much more detailed health and mental health examination of them. We've already done a kind of a psychological question kind of thing with a care house, kid gloves treatment to try to figure out what they're feeling, what they know, things like that. Thankfully, they're responding very well. Our detectives said when they saw them at the care house interview that they were chatty. And obviously, when we first encountered them, it was nothing like that. The girls were actually hiding in a locked bathroom.
Oh.
Yeah, let's just get straight into it. Romans 1 and 28. And even as they did not like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, the Most High gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. Okay? And you can clearly see that this woman was given over to a reprobate mind to do such a thing, because they didn't want to hear what the Lord has to say as far as getting right. Okay? And part of that reprobate mind, as far as what this woman did to her children, is in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. And it lets you know that (28 and 56), it says that the tender and delicate woman among you, which will not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter, and towards her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear. For she shall eat them for one of all things secretly in the siege and straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates. But the point is, all right, because these women, these Israelite women, actually it's many women of all the nations, but we dealing with the Israelite woman, all right, especially the southern kingdom woman. Right, their minds are so fried, not all of them, but a good majority of these women's minds are so fried that it's nothing for them to do a thing like this. Okay, as the scripture said, that's evil. Okay, her eye shall be evil towards her husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter, and towards her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear. Okay, this so-called mother, okay, had no regard for the lives of her children. Okay, sending them DoorDash and Instacart food while she's going out, getting her back blown out by Thuggo and Tyrone. You know, it's amazing that, you know, something like this doesn't even surprise me. Okay, one of my jobs that I used to have before I switched, I used to work at a psychiatric hospital. Okay, and at this hospital there was a children's ward, and the amount of mothers that came in just like this woman, I mean, if you don't have a strong spirit, it will literally make you depressed, because many of these mothers were so trifling and deadbeat and low down that they would purposely get in an argument with their children, bring them to the hospital, lie on them by exaggerating the truth, and have them committed to the hospital, all so they can have a break for not taking care of them, and so also they can go out clubbing and get their back blown out by Thuggo and Tyrone. You'd be surprised. This is very common. This is very common. Mothers just blatantly neglecting their children. Also, they can have that hot girl summer, the city girl summer. But see, the Bible told us this in Romans 20, well, it's not Romans, Matthew 24:12. Okay, because iniquity shall abound. Let me get that. And Matthew 24:12, and plus iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And it tells you that in the book of Titus. No, I don't want that. It's 2 Timothy, I believe. 2 Timothy 2. My goodness. Second Timothy 3 and 1. All right, this is how you know the love of many has waxed cold. It says 2 Timothy 3 and 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come for men, not just males, men, but men as in mankind, shall be lovers of their own selves, boasters, covetous, boasters, proud. All right, there's nobody more proud than the so-called black woman. Okay, even so-called black women that are halfway in their right mind can't even tell these other black women what to do that are out of order. All right, they coons. They're betraying the sisterhood. Okay, nobody can tell the so-called black woman what to do. It's getting to the point where even a daddy, bad Uncle Esau, can't tell them shit. All right, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. It says without natural affection. That's many of the Israelite women, especially the so-called black women. They lack all natural affection. One has to ask themselves, what type of person, or as most people in society would call this type of woman, a piece of shit. Okay? What type of female, what type of person who gave birth to 3 children have such a disregard and lack of love for their children that she would just send them food and leave them in a house to fend on their own, so much to the point where the house became unlivable, filled with old garbage, food, piss, fecal matter. All right, they probably hadn't showered in months. You have to ask yourself, what type of person would do such a thing? And the Bible is going to tell you, let's skip down to verse 4. Traitors, heedy, high-minded, lovers of pleasures. And the so-called black woman is all about herself and all about pleasure. Like I said before, when I used to work at this psychiatric hospital, that's exactly what these mothers would do. They would make up a lie on their children so they could be hospitalized. And they knew that their children would stay in the hospital for a week. So they had a whole week of not taking care of any children, not having any responsibilities. And so they had all this time to go get their hair done, smoke weed, and have their insides rearranged. And it's no exaggeration. I am not exaggerating in the least bit when I tell you this. This is what many, and like I said, I know all races can have moments where they treat their children badly. But as far as this situation is concerned and what I saw at this hospital, it was predominantly the so-called black woman who did this. All the time. All the time. It's sad when you have a parent that's supposed to be protecting their child. Their biggest priority is seeing who wants some used up kitty with a bad pH level. And see, it's stuff like this. It's the whole reason why the majority of our people have to go. Like this woman, her suffering has to end. Her mind's not right. Her spirit's not right. Nothing about her is right. Okay? And many other chicks like this is the whole reason why the Lord said he has to take them out. It's Zechariah 13:8 or 13:9. Zechariah 13:8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. And many of our people have to meet this fate because there's no rehabilitation. As I said before, this woman had no problems leaving the children she gave birth to in a house, unable to fend for themselves, unable to take care of themselves, to provide for themselves. She left these children in a shitty house while she was living her best life. Like I said, we know many nations of women do these certain things to their children, from time to time. But the so-called black woman is the worst. It's stories like this is the whole reason why the apostle elders, and I will say it again, stories like this and many others are the whole reason why the apostle elders have said everything short of making it an order for you brothers to just not deal with the so-called black woman. Like the Lord said, the whole head is sick. And then people wonder why in another 10 years, all right, these young boys are out here putting folks to death, and these girls are doing the same thing to their children. Okay, the only way that this madness, this cycle of madness is going to stop is if the Lord just puts a stop to it himself, which is going to happen. I said, this is a very messed up story, but at the end of the day, it's still the judgment of the Lord. Fortunately, the Lord has some mercy on them, that somebody came to check up on them, and now they're in DCFS custody. Hopefully they're with some parents or relatives that will be able to take care of them, and hopefully be able to keep them and provide for them, keep them together especially, and raise them up to be upstanding citizens. And hopefully this will not be a situation that will affect them for the rest of their life. So that's all I wanted to say on this. I hope you all were edified. Till the next time, we're going to say shalom.